Hello everyone, Bible believers around the world, and welcome to a brand new Bible study series. In this series, we're going to be covering Gentile salvation, and we're going to be covering it in multiple phases. The first phase will start with us discussing the prophecy that the Most High Yah told Abraham about how his descendants would bless those all around the world. Next, we're going to look at where the origin and spirit of not wanting other nations of people to have salvation and get to know Yah comes from. After that, we're going to look at commandments in the scriptures to teach and spread Yah's word to the other nations. After we do that, then we will look into the scriptures about what it's like for Gentiles who are grafted in among Israel and how the Israelites are supposed to treat them. And last but not least, we're going to look in the end times prophecy and verses about what the kingdom will be like to see what Gentiles are like living in the kingdom in the end. Let's get started in the first phase, which is the prophecy that the Most High Yah told Abraham. Genesis chapter 22, verse 18. And in thy seed shall all of the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So right away, the Most High Yah is saying right here that in Abraham's seed shall all of the nations of the earth be blessed. Now, if the Most High Yah told Abraham, only talk to the people of your seed, only preach to the people of your seed, don't tell the other nations about me, don't try and help them get to know me, don't tell them to keep the law, etc., 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 then this prophecy would make no sense. Because how could all the nations of the earth be blessed by Abraham's descendants if Abraham's descendants only speak to themselves? You see, from the very beginning, the Most High Yah already had a plan to make a bridge to the other nations to come and serve him. But now we're going to move into the second phase, which is the phase of Israelites not wanting Gentiles to have a chance to have salvation. Now, this is actually really crazy when you realize that Israelites not wanting Gentiles to have salvation is actually not a new thing that we see in the One West camps, but it's actually an ancient, old behavior. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 16. Forbidding us to speak to Gentiles, that they might be saved, to fill up their sins all away, for the wrath has come upon them to the uttermost. Right there, I really want you to key in on the point where it says, forbidding us to speak to the Gentiles, that they might be saved. I've experienced this a lot in life, where other Israelites will try to persuade you from speaking to Gentiles. Oh, the word ain't for them. You're wasting your time, brother. Going to teach those Japanese people. I don't know why you're teaching that white woman about the Torah. You're wasting your time. Don't spend no time with those African men because, they don't love Yah. See, all that other type of stuff. They're going to hate you, brother. You see, this is an old thing. This is what Paul dealt with when he was trying to go, travel abroad and teach the Gentiles. You see, so this is not something new. One West Israelites are behaving the same way that many of our ancestors did thousands of years ago. So that's just something I wanted to point out as well. Now we're going to move into the next stage, which is all of the times in the scripture where the Most High Yah commanded the Israelites to spread his glory among the heathen. One of the biggest false One West Camp doctrines is that the scripture doesn't say teach the other nations, or that we're not required to do so, or the Most High doesn't care about other nations getting to know him. All of that is false, and we're going to find out right now. We have a few scriptures right now that's going to debunk that. We're going to go to 1 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 24. Declare his glory among the heathen, his marvelous works among all nations. All right? Now, one thing they like to do in the New Testament is say that when it says, teach all nations, they say, oh, that means the Israelites and all nations. But 1 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 24 debunks that, because the Most High Yah has been telling the Israelites to spread the word among the heathen before there was even a split between the northern and southern kingdom. All of Israel was together in the same land and not split, and the Most High Yah was still saying, preach to the heathen. So that doctrine doesn't hold water. Read it one more time. 1 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 24. Declare his glory among the heathens, and his marvelous works among all nations, or what we would say today, all races. There you got your Caucasian white people. There you got your Japanese. You got your Korean. You got your Chinese. You got your Hamitic peoples. Afghan people, the whole 9 yards. The Most High Yah wants us to declare his glory among all people. Let's keep going. Now we're going to the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 96 verse 4 says, "For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods." And the book of Psalms says even more. Let's go up. "Declare his glory among the heathen, his wonders among all people." Exactly, right there. I meant to have Psalms 96 I meant to have Psalms chapter 96 verse 3, but I accidentally had 4. But there you go right there. Verse 3 states, "Declare his glory among the heathen, his wonders among all people." That's very similar to what we just saw in First Chronicles. So once again, we are seeing right now that the One West Camp doctrine is completely false. The Most High Yah wants us to spread his glory among all people. We got to remember, we're going to get to that later on when we look at the prophecies of the Gentiles in the kingdom and what they will be dealing with in the end times, in the kingdom and all that. But the book of Revelation talks about the innumerable multitude and how there will be servants of Christ from every type of people. So we got to think, Israel is the light unto the Gentiles. We are a holy nation of priests. So if Israel is not teaching other nations and helping other nations, how is that prophecy in Revelation supposed to come to pass? You see, the Most High Yah is using the Israelites to help graft these Gentiles in. Let's move to the book of Tobit now. Here's another good one. Tobit chapter 13 verse 3. "Confess him before the Gentiles, ye children of Israel, for he has scattered us among them." This debunks another false doctrine. Some Israelites, like we've already discussed, only want to talk to other Israelites. And if they're in an area where there's a lot of white people, or if they're in an area where there's a lot of Asians or a lot of Hamitic peoples, they all of a sudden act like an atheist. They don't talk about the Bible, they don't talk about law. They might as well be atheists. They don't say anything. They only want to go to high black areas to talk about the scriptures. But right here, Tobit says to confess him before the Gentiles, ye children of Israel, for he has scattered us among them. So in other words, speak about Yah to whoever's in the area where you're located. So if you're in England, you speak the Bible to white people. If you're in Nigeria, you speak the Bible to African people. And if you're in America, you speak the Bible to pretty much everybody. Now we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 49. Isaiah chapter 49 verse 6. "It is said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles." That's where my username comes from. "That thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth." Exactly. The salvation of the Gentiles. That's something that matters to the Most High Yah. The Most High Yah wants to be the God of all humans on this earth because he is the only true living God. He is the greatest God, the most powerful, the only true living God. But you see right here, it is Israelite first, Gentile second. It's not Israelite only. And that's where they get messed up, where they read about the part of raising up the tribes of Jacob, but then they slam the book closed and don't read the second part. We're supposed to be helping everybody. We got to raise up the tribes, and then we have to raise up the Gentiles too, because both matter. Grafting in Gentiles is important, just like raising up the tribes of Jacob. And in some instances, you actually can go straight to the Gentiles and bypass the Israelites. What am I talking about? Well, in the New Testament, Paul was quoted as saying that he meant to speak the word to the Israelites first, but since the Israelites hated it and rejected it so much, they turned unto the Gentiles. And that's what's happened to me so many times, where I go to the Israelites first, but they cut, these One West guys, they cuss you out and call you every slur in the book, and then you turn to the Japanese chick, and the white man, and they're sitting there learning, obedient and growing in faith and spiritual awareness. Meanwhile, your own brethren don't even respect you. Israel's a stiff-necked nation, and we got to, stop that. We don't even know how to recognize help. And the One West camps are responsible for just about the majority of that. Now, we will be back in part 2 to cover the next phase.